Jim Carr's been dropping hints for years, and honestly, it's about time we paid attention. One of the strangest yet side-splittingly funny moments of his career unfolded on Jimmy Kimmel. And what looked like pure comedy was, I think, Carrey slipping us a secret message wrapped in jokes. There's a lot to unpack here, especially after Jimmy's jaw-dropping response. But first, let's rewind to the wild clip that had everyone buzzing.
Is that a gang sign? Have you,
Oh, like you don't know what it is. You don't know what that is.
I have no idea.
You don't know. Jimmy Fallon doesn't know. David Letterman doesn't know.
We don't know.
All the comics and show business don't know what this is. Right? Yeah.
Jimmy went from chuckling to visibly unsettled faster than you can say cut to commercial. And you can almost see him thinking, wait, what did he just imply? Don't worry. We're not going full conspiracy parade over a hand sign. I'm convinced Carrey was pointing at something quieter and nastier than secret clubs. He's been quietly fed up with Hollywood's glittery carnival for years. And on that couch, he practically shrugged and said, look, hosts like Kimmel are part of the spectacle, trained to dazzle you while the real story sneaks out the back. Picture the Colosseum at the exact moment Rome was burning. The modern version is the glowing TV screen, endlessly hypnotic, selling narratives while the important stuff gets left to smolder. I'm sick and tired of the secrets and the lies. It is the secret symbol of the Illuminati, and you're a part of it. And it is the all-mocking tongue. I like it, is scraping. It's a symbol of the all-mocking tongue, and I'm sick of it. I want everybody to be in on the joke, man. You know what I mean? Like for years now, talk show hosts, people on television, people in sitcoms have been hired by the government to throw you off the track, to distract you, to make you laugh and stuff like that, make you happy and docile, so you don't know what's really going on. He said it right to Jimmy Kimmel's face, wrapped in just enough sugar and slapstick to make it untouchable. When comedy is the delivery system, the medicine slips right past the defenses. For anyone who's tracked Jim Carr's journey, this isn't a surprise. The once wild comic has evolved into a quieter, more contemplative man, consumed with life's biggest questions. He's chasing meaning in a world obsessed with noise, a privilege most people never reach because they're stuck drowning in trivial entertainment, petty politics, and hollow distractions. And where do those distractions come from? The very industry he spent his life at the center of. As Carrey himself once put it, I wish everybody could get rich and famous and do everything they ever dreamed of so they can see that it's not the answer. So is this really about Jimmy Kimmel personally? Probably not. But Kimmel is undeniably part of a larger machine, a cadre of cultural influencers nudged and steered by powers far above their pay grade. Late-night comedy has morphed into something darker. Indoctrination dressed as jokes, propaganda in a monologue, ideology tucked behind a laugh track. From the pandemic to the war in Ukraine, to our most divisive social battles, the script has stayed the same. Toe the line, push the narrative, and package it as compassion. And if you think that's dramatic, take a look at this unsettling clip from Kimmel himself a few years back. It's the perfect case study in how effortlessly someone can drop a jaw-dropping remark, so long as it's coming from the approved side of the political spectrum. Dr. Fauci said that if hospitals get any more overcrowded, they're going to have to make some very tough choices about who gets an ICU bed. That choice doesn't seem so tough to me. Vaccinated person having a heart attack, yes, come right on in. We'll take care of you. Unvaccinated guy who gobbled horse goo. Rest in peace, Wheezy. We the poison control centers have seen is this spike in calls from people taking this livestock medicine to fight the coronavirus. But they won't take the vaccine, which is crazy. It's like if you're a vegan and you're like, no, I don't want a hamburger. Give me that can of Alpo instead. I doubt anyone else could have gotten away with a remark that cold, especially in the middle of a pandemic. But Jimmy Kimmel has in recent years leaned hard into being the guy who stands firmly on one side of the political divide, gleefully mocking the other. Sure, it gets headlines and clips shared across social media, but respect. That's a currency Jim Carrey isn't handing out so freely. What's striking is how effortlessly Kimmel drifts into controversial territory without ever feeling the sting of pushback from producers. That's not luck, that's protection. He's part of a media class that operates with a safety net. And it's exactly that privilege that makes someone like Jim Carrey raise an eyebrow. Why is it that certain figures get a free pass? Perhaps because when you're playing for the emperor, the circus is always welcome. After all, it keeps the restless crowd entertained while the empire does what it pleases. And that's the very slumber Carrey keeps trying to jolt us out of. To drive the point home, here's another recent clip. Jimmy Kimmel making some less than flattering remarks about Donald Trump's death and receiving nothing but applause from his audience. If those 3 judges he appointed to the Supreme Court take this case and rule against him, he is going to blow a whale-sized windmill out of his... I mean, it might actually. This could be it. Sometimes I wonder, once Trump is been gone and buried on the 18th hole of one of his golf courses, will things get better? Or will we have a whole new crop of MAGA brains to deal with? It's the kind of hollow political comedy that doesn't unite. It fractures. Instead of sparking curiosity, compassion, or dialogue, it sows bitterness and fuels division. And that's the trick. It's a distraction, keeping millions locked into resentment instead of reaching across the aisle, learning something new, or daring to make peace. Of course, Donald Trump himself wasn't exactly thrilled about being Jimmy Kimmel's perennial punching bag, the centerpiece of endless monologues and cheap laughs during late-night specials. But step back and the contrast with Jim Carrey becomes striking. The man who once made the world roar with laughter has turned inward, seeking meaning instead of mockery. And from that lens, the endless political tit-for-tat looks small. Nothing drove this home for Carrey more than the missile scare in Hawaii back in 2018. For 10 agonizing minutes, he believed the end had arrived, that he was living out his final moments on Earth. And in that brief window of terror, all the glitz, all the headlines, all the distractions dissolved into nothing. It cemented for him how fragile and fleeting life really is, and how pointless so much of our noise becomes in the shadow of mortality. I sat on the LA and looked out at the ocean, and at that point, I started going, okay, well, what can I do with this last moment of time? And I just decided to go through a list of gratitudes. And honest to God, I could not stop thinking of wonderful things that have happened to me, and blessings that I've had. So it was lovely. It was lovely. And I got to a point of grace. But about 2 minutes to spare when I found out it wasn't actually happening. And all I was planning to do was close my eyes and be thankful, 'cause it's been a good ride. In the last several years, Jim Carrey's outlook has shifted dramatically, shaped not just by age, but by profound loss. The death of his girlfriend in 2015 forced him to stare mortality in the face. And in that confrontation, much of what once seemed important began to crumble. Fame, spectacle, headlines. It all starts to feel like a carnival you wander through, surrounded by fleeting pleasures, where hardly anyone pauses to ask why they're even there in the first place. And maybe that's the quiet challenge tucked inside his words to assist being lulled by every new trend, every manufactured panic, every glittering distraction spun out by the media machine. If we can shake free from that hypnosis, maybe, just maybe, we'll catch a glimpse of something deeper, something that actually matters. The question is, will